G'day guys, Dave from West Oz RC here today, and we are doing some modifications to my already pretty heavily modified Kraton. Putting the upper hinge pin on the front end, putting the front hinge pin support systems, and the rears. Now these are all M2C Racing, which a huge shout out to Ed Morris from EasternRC. Top bloke, thanks very much Ed for sending me these parts. This truck's got a lot of M2C pits on it, and I'll do another video with it all. But today I'm just going to focus on putting the hinge pins on, and something that I haven't seen on YouTube, how to modify the front hinge pin support to suit the EXB front bumper that I've put on my V4. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so first of all, you can all see that I've got a EXB front bumper on this, and what I've noticed is a lot of you guys are saying that I can't put a front hinge pin on the EXB bumper. I'm going to do a modification to this. So I've already taken all the screws out of it, so you guys aren't watching me unscrew this thing. So I'm going to take out the front hinge pin first of all. The M2C front hinge support has the lug on it already, which is a brilliant idea. Mitch, you're a legend, mate, for coming up with this. These M2C parts, guys, are absolutely brilliant. So this is the front piece that is on the EXB front end of the trucks. Now, as you can see, my standard aluminium support sat in there nicely. So what I decided to do was, I'm thinking, okay, so which piece am I going to use that's got the lug on it? And it was pretty much a no-brainer. The M2C is going to win all the time, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to stop the front from moving up like that to snap off the, first of all, your screws in the front that hold it onto the your diff case, which I've actually, by the way, guys, got a HR diff case here. These units here are absolutely brilliant. I've seen a lot of videos, especially Rich Duperbash. Big shout out to Rich, inspiration on building this truck. Mate, your videos are brilliant, and yeah, I want to build something as strong as your stuff there, mate. So huge shout out to Rich, thanks very much. So this is the Exb Front Mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this piece to fit in front of this. Now, as you can see, it's a lot thicker in the front, and on the M2C Racing website, it does say that it does have a much higher piece than the original. I'll put the original one over the top of it, and you can see that it's like heaps thicker. It's probably about 4 millimeters higher. So you've actually got to take this front off before you can actually take the front of your diff off. So that, yeah, I'd rather do that than have a strong front end than worry about, you know, grounding that down and ruining the piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to fit that inside that. So I'm going to do some modification to this, and I'll be back. Okay guys, so we're back with our modified EXB front cover for our M2C Racing hinge support. So this is what I've done. Well, I've cut the lug off the EXB. I've then gone and cut just the top end of the support that sort of hangs over a lip like that. I just cut the whole thing off, just got my grinder with a 1 millimeter cutting disc and just cut it all the way off. Drilled out the end caps to suit the M2C nuts at the front. And also, when you are screwing the two screws in the center, put a couple of flat washers like this inside there, and what they will do is they will take up the chamfer in there, and so the screw doesn't pull through the little plastic in the thing. So all I do is I grab the 2 screws, I pop them in there like that. Then I grab my little washers and I put them on the bolt like that. And then we just screw these into place. And there is your support for your EXB bumper bar. Another thing too, guys, is at the back here, there are 2 holes. You can see them down there, those 2, that hole there. That actually, I'm going to put a nut at the bottom there. You can see the bottom of the bumper bar there. That's where the hole goes through, and just put a nut through there with your screw, and that'll hold the back part of the bumper, which is that bit there. Alright guys, so have a go at this Precision by Mitch at M2C Racing. He has just done a perfect job here where the pin nut is holding the other nut that I need to tighten for that end of the bumper bar. Just brilliant, Mitch. Well done, mate. I'm going to do the upper hinge pin support. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take off these 4 here. Right, so I've also got an M2C front brace. I don't actually like taking this bolt out because I've actually got a locking nut underneath. So what I do is I remove the nut of the brace and then I just unscrew it from the bottom. Okay guys, so we've taken all the bolts out, and you'll see what I mean when taking out that screw is just a lot easier to trying to take off that nut. So the whole piece just comes straight off there, and yeah, so that just all pops off. So I've also put seal bearings in the steering towers. Highly recommend those because they come with just brass bushes in there. So yeah, just change those out. The next things we do is we remove the other screws that are in there that are holding the top piece, the upper mount on there. So we've got those 2 out and this one under here. Okay, so that piece is out and off comes our top mount. Okay guys, so we're going to mount the new support onto the plate. It has a notch on the left hand side for your servo arm to miss. So if the unit's going in like that, the notch has to be on your left hand side. So there we go, we've got the notch on the left. But the 2 at the top definitely need Loctite. We're ready to put back the center brace, seal bearings in the steering towers. It goes in there. There we go, all done. Now you notice I don't use a center brace. You don't need a center brace when you're running a M2C chassis with your front and rear mounts and the tower struts at the back here that I've got there. And don't forget to put a little bit of blue Loctite on the pin screw. That way it'll stay in. So there you go, guys. That's the final product, all done. Your EXB front mount with the M2C Racing hinge pin in there, modified. I just cut the top of that out, cut the bottom lug off, drilled out these plastic ends and popped the screws through that with an 8mm drill. And at the back here, as you can see, I also put the screws for the back of the bumper bar on both sides. All right, well, on to the rear. Got to do the rears now. Let's do it. All right, guys, so I've taken the 4 bolts out. Off comes the diff and everything else. So there we have the parts that we need to get rid of. As you can see, I've bent this pretty badly. I actually snapped it the last time. A mate of mine, Marty, has given me a lend of that one there. I'm going to give it back to him. Thanks, buddy. And this one here was pretty badly bent too, so you can see it's in pretty bad repair. So let's get into it and fix this up. There we go, guys. I had to give that a bit of a grinder because I stuffed up the head on it. So, but have a look at the state of my pins. Look at those pins. So bent out of shape, like just completely. Have a look at this. Well, that's the left side. That's the right side, and I don't know why arrma think that would be a fantastic thing to do on the rear of these trucks. Yeah, not sure why, but thank goodness for M2C Racing. Okay, guys, so we're ready to pop this on. As you can see, I've also got a HR diff case in there. So we're going to put this together now. Throw some Loctite on the small end, which will go on the inside of the truck. I'm going to pop on the nut on that. Did exactly the same for the front, guys. My shop tool. So put a little bit of Loctite on the end of it. Just in there like that. I just press it into the thread. Throw a Velcro ring on the inside of that to put that there. Right, so this one here is your rear. That's the rear one at the back of the unit of the diff. So we'll go ahead and put that one on there first. And away we go. Right, so the next part. Okay, so this is the next bit here, guys, the front bit, and that's got the lug at the bottom that goes in the chassis. Okay, guys, so we put the hinge pins in the hinge support, run them into your arms, and remember this is the inside of the truck. Okay. We've got our hold down bolts. And there we have it, guys, that's all ready to go. All ready to smash it out again. The 2 nuts at the back here, guys, we put the 2 Delrin washers in there. and we pop our locking nuts onto them there. When you've got them tightened up, they should be able to still spin around a little bit, guys. So don't tighten them up too much. Otherwise you ruin the suspension trouble. That is it, guys. That is the whole lot. So you can see there's your inside with the Loctited nuts on there. There's the rears with the locks and nuts on there. So we're just going to bolt this back up, and that'll be the end of that job. Well, that is it. Full M2C Racing hinge pins, front and rear. Going over the top, seeing them in there. Hinge pin up the top. The pin support at the front. And also down the back you can see the actual the nuts there, as mentioned before. So yeah guys, EXB front bumper modification to suit the M2C Racing. Again, huge shout out to Mitch for the brilliant stuff that he makes M2C Racing. Another huge shout out at Ed Morris at EasternRC. I'll put a link to his website there, guys, for you Aussie guys that want some M2C parts. He's a brilliant, lovely guy, very helpful and always courteous. Okay guys, thanks for the views, and give us a thumbs up, subscribe, plenty more to come. See you next time. Cheers.